Hey guys, welcome back! Last episode we cleared out this area of the swamp to start preparing for what will hopefully be my next big project. I don't think it will be the scale of the end project, but who knows? The idea is definitely still in development, but one thing I have decided is I want this project to all live on one big island. I know, apparently I have a thing with islands, but I think an island really works here. First, it gives us a bit of a boundary for the project, so I know where I'm working and where I'm not. We may, of course, end up doing some bits of work around the edges if it looks a bit weird, but that's something we'll only know much later. The second reason I think it works is because there are already a bunch of rivers around here, so it shouldn't be too hard at all to divert the rivers so they go all the way around the island and then cover up the places where there's currently water within our boundaries. I'm sure the project will end up with some water in it as well, but at least at the moment I don't think I want any full-on rivers going through the project. Plus, if I change my mind, we can always dig out a river later on and it will have the added benefit of being where I want it instead of just being where it was randomly generated. So, with that in mind, let's start by working out the edges of this island. Okay, I definitely underestimated the amount of time that was going to take. I mean, I thought it was going to take a while, but I forgot quite how many hills I was going to have to dig through in order to create a proper perimeter, but we got there in the end, and as you can see over here, I have done a bit of the terraforming around the edges, but there is definitely still plenty more to do. I don't want either side of these rivers to look weird or unnatural, so I will definitely need to do some more shaping, but if I'm perfectly honest, I don't really want to do any more of that right now, so I'm not going to. And the important thing is that now we have a much better idea of both the shape and size of this project, and I'm actually really happy with it. I may, of course, need to do some further tweaks down the line, especially once we get to terraforming the rest of the island, but overall, I really like the shape we have going because it doesn't seem too regular or angular. It has quite a natural feel. The only place that I know is not quite the right shape is just behind our witch hut, where it is quite straight, but I think that should hopefully be pretty easy to fix once we get working on this area properly. But like I said, I think the shape and size are pretty good, and if we take a very quick look at Journeymap to get a bit of a better overview, this area here is our project, and I think it's good, but we'll probably get a better idea once we actually fill in all of these lakes so we have a better surface to work with. So let's get that sorted. 7 shulker boxes of grass and dirt later, it is so much easier to see now. I mean, obviously, it's still the same size and shape, but now we're not looking at mostly water, it's just so much easier to really see the scale of the island, and I think this is going to be perfect for what I currently have in mind. So I've mentioned a couple of times part of this project is going to include a witch farm, but that's not actually the only farm I want to create here. I'm also, hopefully, going to incorporate a slime farm as well, so we'll have 2 reasons to come here and really maximise the usefulness of this project. And we might actually end up with a 3rd farm as well, but I only thought of it yesterday, so that's really not thought out yet. But the main thing is, I really want to make sure I have multiple reasons to come here. Kind of like the end project with both our villagers and our Enderman farm, this just means we're even more incentivized to come back to the project after it's done and keep seeing it and interacting with what we've built, which is always lovely. But anyway, the next question is, where are these projects going to go? Well, the witch farm is obviously going to be around the hut, and I think I want the slime farm to be at the other end of the island, so they're kind of opposing each other. This will hopefully work both for balancing the island, but also for the narrative I'm hoping will come through with the buildings I'm going to hide the farms in. But for now, what I really want to do is lay out the foundations for both of these buildings to actually get an idea about how big they're going to be and where they're going to be placed in this project. Also, I think I do want the slime farm to be on a bit of a hill to try and give some height variation, although I believe slimes spawn at a max height of 69 in a swamp, so it's not going to be super high, but I think it will be different enough since the witch farm will be at water level by necessity due to the location of the witch hut. So let's see about getting these foundations down and maybe doing a rough outline of our slime hill. And somehow I once again managed to underestimate the size of both of these hills. You'd think I'd learn, but the important thing is we now have our foundations down, and I think these builds are actually going to be a little bit bigger than I originally thought they would. It can be quite hard to tell the scale sometimes when working in like a creative flat world, but I still think this is going to be good. And I also think that this hill is definitely going to bring in some nice height variation, although I do want to keep some of these other hills as well, so we get a bit more of an undulating landscape, but this one is obviously going to be the most prominent hill in the project, and I think with probably a bit more refining and shaping, it is going to be perfect. But that will all be for much later. For today, I think we're actually going to have to call it there. Like I said earlier, getting the definition of this island took quite a bit longer than I thought, and so I'm unfortunately out of time for today, but on the plus side, I think next time we might actually be ready to build the witch farm. I mean, not necessarily the building around it, but I really do want to build the farm itself and see how well it works, and then maybe we'll do some more terraforming or something else, I'm not quite sure. But for now, thank you guys for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!